Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Mashura. Today I'm going to tie a lively leg hare's ear wiggle nymph. This is going to be a jointed nymph or articulated. We're going to use 2 hooks, but we're going to cut the barb and most of the hook away on the tail section. The hook that I have in the vise, this is just a cheap hook, and that's what we're going to use. I'm going to use some black thread, and we're going to put a base of thread on the hook, and for the size I'm going to tie a size 14. I'm going to come back about halfway with it. I'm going to use some deer hair for the tail. You don't want a reel out of it. You're not spinning a bass bug, so you don't need a lot. Go ahead and cut some of this nice dark deer body hair. I'm going to take my brush, you can see, and take that loose and long ones out of there. And this is a flea and tick comb. You could get these at pet section in your dollar store. Go ahead and put that in a hair stacker, and we're going to stack that. This is a short hair stacker, and I'm going to lift the hair stacker slightly, tap it down again, and we have our hair sticking out. And by lifting it, gives us a little bit more we could grab onto when we take it out. Now we want our tail to be about the length of our tie-in thread or our base thread. I'm going to take that, we're going to let that roll. See that just rolled around there. And then we're going to secure that. And because of the barb and the back side there, you have to help it around sometimes, or usually. Just take your thumb and kind of push that around. And we're going to go right up to about an eye length from the eye of the hook, so we can tie our head, or have enough room for our tie off. And we're going to trim that off. Now for the rib, I'm going to use you can use gold tinsel, a number 16 gold tinsel. I'm going to use this is a fine, but not extra fine, gold wire. And I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to tie that in starting at the top, or near the eye, so that I can keep a level body. And it came out on me. Pulled that a little bit too hard. I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to turn my vise sideways so I can dub. And I'm going to use hare's ear dubbing. This is a lighter color. You can use light, dark, whatever color you prefer. The light is nice, the dark is nice. They all catch. I'm going to go ahead and dub this body. It doesn't have to be thick because we already have a thicker base here with all of that deer hair underneath there. You can actually put some lead on there if you want, or lead-free wire on there. But that's just going to make it even fatter. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this and see what we got. Alright, I need just a little bit more. Remember, you can always add more. Yep, if you have just a little bit too much, like I did right there, you can either pick it off or go back and kind of build a little bit of a taper there. Now we're going to take our rib, and I'm counter wrapping this just so I can get my muscle memory into the counter wrapping. Counter wrapping is important on things like the pheasant tail. And we're going to tie this in. And we're going to helicopter this off. Now we got a big black head there, so we're going to put just a little bit more dubbing on there. Just want enough to hide that. And I'm actually crowding the head there, just so as long as you could get a piece of tippet material through that eye, you're good. Go ahead and tie that off. Give it 3 turns. Tighten that up. You can actually take a dubbing teaser and kind of tease that out. Make sure you hide that thread well. Okay. Now we're going to take this out and we're going to cut the barb off. Put a little head cement on there first. Watch the eye, and you're going to put a piece of mono through there, but you don't want it to harden on you before you get your piece of mono through there. We're going to take this out and we're going to trim away our hook. Just take a wire cutter. I don't have my normal wire cutter. I'm just going to use my Letterman's tool. And don't worry about crimping that the hair. It's not gonna affect it. And there we have our abdomen. You can see that the hair is fine. The barb is well inside there and hidden. And we have our eye open for our monofilament. Now we're going to take our front one, and for our front hook I'm using the Lively Legs Lip Splitter 471 size 14. This is 1 extra strong and a standard length. So it's a shorter hook, especially when you put your 3mm barb on there. That takes up a lot of space. So what we're going to have on this front section, all we're going to have is the legs and the thorax, because we already have the abdomen made. Go ahead and tighten that up. We're going to put a base of thread on this. Whoop. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my piece of mono, and I'm using Cortland 2X is 12.9 pound, and this is strong stuff. This is all I use for my tippet. I love the Cortland stuff. 30 plus years, almost 40 years of fly fishing, and the Cortland's never let me down. I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to hold it on the top to the far side and let that come to the bottom. And we'll just quickly tie that in and bring that back. You can take that and make sure you're on the bottom there. Now I'm going to take my abdomen and put that on. And we want that abdomen to be right there. We don't want it real tight because it'll be too tight and you won't get the wiggle out of it. So we want it back there just a little bit. We can actually leave a bigger loop there and secure it with several wraps, and then take the mono and pull that into the position. And now you want the mono to be on top, because you want that abdomen to be on top. We've got a nice connection there. Okay, now you can take your mono, you can do it with the other one too, and fold it over and go back on it. But this abdomen section is not going to be, it's going to be in the fish's mouth. It's not going to have any pressure on it. So you really don't need all of that extra security. Just having it wrapped all the way up there is good enough. If you still don't trust it, put some head cement on that thread, super glue or whatever, but you don't need it. Now I'm going to put the legs on now. Take my Lively legs, and these are the yellow ones for size 12-14. I'm going to snip some of the front tab off. In manufacturing, they're long, so you want a little piece on there, something for the thread to catch. I'm leaving all three right now. I'm going to put it on my side of the hook, and I'm going to tie it in, and it's going to crawl right to the top. Just put 4 or 5 wraps on there. Move it to the middle, secure that. Take your thread to the back side of that second set, and now we can trim off the excess. Put these on the side, and you can actually put them in individually. I do on my own flies. I use those. Now I'm going to take a section, or I'm going to dub this part. I actually want this dubbing on there a little heavier on the very back. I want to try to hide that joint with the dubbing teaser after I get it wrapped. See what this does right here. I'm going to tease it out so that it will kind of trail towards the rear there. Take my dubbing teaser. Yeah, my other dubbing teaser. The boar brush works good. And there you can see how it's I'm dubbing it, and it's going out the back there to kind of hide that just a little bit, you know. You can see that on the top there. And eventually you're going to lose a lot of that, but I'm going to bring my thread back to behind the second set of legs. Now for the wing case, I'm going to use, this is turkey tail, molted turkey tail. And I have a piece probably about 1/4 long, maybe 5/16. I'm going to have a nice distinct wing case on there. I'm going to go ahead and turn that over and dub the rest of it. This is not a complicated fly. It might look a little bit complicated, but it is not. I'm going to see what that'll do. Remember, your concern is the bottom of the fly, because the wing case is going to hide the top. Got it good. Get a little bit more on there. I can make that fat. we're looking at the bottom. And I give that a couple little figure eights. Now we're going to take our wing case and we want to hold that flat over the back. And pinch that in right there at behind the bead. And you can see that part coming up, so that's going down inside there. We're going to go ahead and trim this off. Put that on the side for another. Take our whip finish. Trim that off. I'm going to put a little bit of head cement on there. You get some head cement on the wing case also. And here we have a Lively Leg Hare's Ear Wiggle Nymph. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Let them know I sent you. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase this or any flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. If you don't see it, just give me a message and tell me what you want, and we'll figure it out. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.